YouTube. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
So we're testing the microphone to make sure it works before we start talking. So if you want to check it. Oh.
I love this song. Good choice.
Nice choice.
Good shit.
Are you fist pumping?
That's the only dance move I got.
Oh my god.
Too much Jersey Shore.
Right. Speaking of Jersey Shore.
Polly D.
Yeah. Let's make sure it works. Oh my god. Yeah, it works. Yay, the sound
finally
works. Yay.
Not like last week. 9-minute buffer.
Put this over there. Put this here. All right, guys. We're back. Business AF podcast. I am Marissa. This is Chris.
Yep.
And Chris is going live on Instagram now.
IG live.
It's like
so I don't know if
content overload. So yeah, it's our second episode. We hopefully worked out some kinks. You know, there's a lot of little things that you gotta do when you're hosting a podcast, and one of them I think that we're still working on is the profiles.
Yeah, like so we don't have
we don't have a logo on our
we have a logo, but not on Instagram.
Yeah, so
but we just need to. That's a quick 2-minute fix. But,
so cheers.
Yeah.
Coffee.
We work.
Yeah.
Here we are. Here we are.
So guys, this week it is our official episode 1 because we are hopefully going to talk strictly about business and anything that goes along with that. But before we, I know I said we're going to talk strictly about business. I want to shout out my co-host for being pleasant this morning, even though he's cutting weight and getting ready for a fight. So he would be very irritable and kind of not in the mood to do this, but we've committed to do it weekly. So we're here. I've had 4 hours of sleep. So this is my 4 hours of sleep.
So she has 4 hours of sleep. I am losing 15 pounds this week of water weight.
That's crazy.
I'm dehydrated AF and she's tired AF. So, but yeah, we're here because we want to be able to share content with everyone. And also, we are really enjoying this process. And I guess it's part of the grind too.
Yeah. Speaking of
we can't
processes.
we can't let things get in our way no matter.
Right. And I think that is a lesson to be said on when it comes to processes, because that's kind of the theme of what I would like to talk about today. Obviously, we can always deviate from that, however it goes. But one of the goals, I think, when we started, and we probably mentioned this last week, was, make sure that we keep each other accountable, but also detail some of the processes that we go through when we're working on our business and business development, because I feel like that is the key part to being successful in business, is just how you handle things. How do you handle business development, marketing, product development, things that you're working on, even down to something what's related like legal or hiring someone. Right. How do you hire that person? And so we definitely want to talk a little bit about that and be real about the process, because it's not easy, and we wanted to share that with all of you guys who are watching. Top of the summit. Oh, that's our audio guy. Remember, he checked our. Was that the guy that?
No, that's my sister.
Oh, hi, hi, Chris's sister.
It's Priscilla.
Priscilla.
But yeah, I'm glad that you spoke about that, because I don't want to talk about just about maybe how it is to hire other people, but even to hire us. What's the process for that too? Right. How do people hire us, and what do you look for when you're getting hired?
So I think I'll start, I guess.
Yeah, go for it.
So I think, when you're first starting in business, you kind of want to take everyone. Hold on one second.
Sorry, everyone. I'm not trying to look like a douche drinking water.
Yeah, you do.
It's just I have to.
Give me 1 second. This is a really cool feature, so I want to show this. So this is what we're addressing right now. So for me, the process that I use in business has evolved over time. When I first started, I wanted to take on every client, any possible project that related to digital marketing, even down to like conversations about building a website or building an app, which is, I understand the concept behind it, but my skill set is not there. And having that background, in the corporate world, you did get exposed to all those different types of skill sets, but you weren't able to like master it.
Right.
And I think when you're working for yourself, you kind of, anywhere you see potential money, you go towards it. But it's kind of messy, I think.
Definitely. But I think some businesses try to master something and they're good at it, but other businesses, they're already masters at what they do, and they end up branching off into certain things. Because, like, for example, I see like for example, right now I'm just doing software development, mobile apps, websites, design. But then a lot of people in my industry, they'll start adding marketing to their skill set because they go together. In an app or website, they need to market it. They need to market their product and their social media. And then I'll see that, or like PR related things.
And we were just talking about that, right? Like earlier.
Yeah, but like that's what happens when I'm seeing form into, at least in my field, in those kind of businesses, B2B businesses, companies, that they just start off doing software development, but then they, their clients might ask, "Oh, do you do SEO work?" And I don't know how many. Like I've been asked that a lot of times. I'm like, "No, I don't actually," but maybe eventually down the road,
or you have a good connection and you've built a trust with someone else. So someone that and back to like how my process is like, now it's like I kind of know what questions to ask when I first make that connection. When someone talks, oh, like you do social media, and like the name of my company is All the Social, right? It's very self-explanatory, but I do more than social media. It's all centered around social media. It starts there. That's the foundation. But you can't have just posting on social as your only way of marketing. Right. It starts becoming a bigger thing, and that's where the growth comes, because you can master a certain area of, I'm going to post on social, or I'm going to create a Facebook page and post on Facebook. But now you have all the platforms that you really have to figure out what the best way is to like reach your audience, and like how do you communicate that, and how often are you posting, and all of these factors come in. Right. And I think over time you come up with a process of how you weed out whether that client is a good fit for you, or what they need is something that you feel confident in doing. Yeah.
Or if you even if that client has the work that you want, but they may not be a good fit for you as well. I find that happening sometimes. Like, a client comes on board, and I love their project, their idea, the concept, but the person behind the business, maybe it's just a person with an idea, and they don't really understand what really goes into it. So it's kind of hard to even communicate that with them, even though you tell them the whole process, show them what's there and what they need to do, and give them the path to success, or give them steps to succeed in their business. But they don't want to listen because, for example, I don't know, they may be a master as a lawyer, right? They might know the legal system really well, but they don't know how to develop a legal application, to hire lawyers, right? They don't know what really goes behind that, or marketing. They're probably trying to tell you what to do, but really,
I mean, and you have to position yourself as the expert, and be confident in what you know, and be upfront when you don't know. Like I've taken on working on some ads recently. I'm not an expert in it. I understand the vernacular. I know like where I can find the answers. I know I have a few connections I can get answers from, but it is a learning process, because do I want to offer this as part of my services in a bigger scale, like where it's not just like basic setup and like a few ads. It's like a full-blown ad strategy. And a lot of times, I love Facebook, but we're on YouTube right now for a reason. They they're very quick to say, go ahead and set up an ad. And I feel that
Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. And I feel like Facebook ads, they make money off your business. So unless you understand how ads work, you understand like the back end of it, like how to set it up, how to set up audiences,
and all that,
what your campaign, and then what's your objective, and then all your creatives and all that. Like
same thing with Google ads too, right?
Same thing. Yeah. And it's, if you don't understand that, and you trust, someone comes to me, they trust me, they want me to handle it because we've already worked together for X amount of months, but they want to like get it done really quickly, or they don't understand the process behind learning what needs, like you got to set it up first. You got to have all the tracking materials first. And then you start implementing a strategy for ads. And that's completely separate from social media, like community management, it's like, or Facebook group or something. It's completely separate. And advertising is a completely separate channel of marketing. And I feel like it's just, there's the cookie cutter solutions, and let's just put
it's different for every business and individual, right? Because you might run into the same, I don't know. Okay, if you're going to do marketing for Facebook and Instagram, they're both social media, but they both have different purposes. And the type of people they target, right?
And you're like, your content,
they fall into the same category,
right?
As a business is just completely different on what you need, the strategy that you need to develop to help them succeed.
So, in a nutshell, the process behind how I take on a new lead, it's not a quick, I'm going to go buy like a bottle of water at CVS. Like, I'm just going to pick the best
water.
I'm going to pick the best bottle, like how it looks. Okay, I'm just going to pick up water. Like, it's more so a lot. And if your business most likely is unique, so there's a lot more, like the sales process is a lot longer. It could be 90 days. It could be 2 months before they actually sign on. And I think that, in this age of instant gratification, as a business owner, you need to trust the process. I know that I say processes all the time, but like you have to trust your own process too. Like, or
for others, like it's not a one night stand.
Okay, we're going there.
You want to be able to, woo the customer. Like you want to be able to get them in before closing the deal.
Yeah, it's definitely building trust.
Yeah.
My Instagram, I don't know if people are watching.
It looks like one person.
You waved at Anthony.
My sister's still watching. But
Hi,
Anthony,
Priscilla.
Anthony is a UFC veteran.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, anyways, processes I use, lead process. There's a process of how I take in a lead, how I qualify them, whether they need my help or they are needing a different type of marketing. If they're, have they done stuff before? What's worked for them? Why are they looking for a new person? What's making them want to work with a social media person right now? Or do they need someone else that's going to work on their content or their website or something, and I can do all that, but it's kind of a bigger project. It's like,
right. So you would want help on that possibly?
Yeah. Oh, I would totally like partner with someone like you if it's, if it's a substantial, like they understand the need for the process, and like we got to do setup first and really find out what they're looking for. But a lot of times, building that trust and them knowing that you're going to connect them with the right people.
Right.
And we as business owners have to trust each other too.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't worked together on a project yet, but like I know that
our community soon.
Yeah, actually, that's funny because we have a potential client that's like, we'll keep their name quiet for now, but we're working on different aspects of the same client, and we got connected through different channels, and it's a coincidence that we're both kind of working on the same client right now.
Well, and who knows?
Potential client.
What if this happens more often? Like maybe we merge the business together. You just don't know what the future holds, right?
Yeah, maybe you hire me,
or you hire me. One of us hires each other, or just partner up, whatever. I mean, well, one thing I want to talk about too is trusting other people. Like for example,
I'm gonna share it. You can talk.
Yeah. So you and I can't do everything ourselves.
Right.
You're working with someone that's helping you. I have a small team that I work with, and that's because we need to be real with ourselves as a startup. And yes, we want to take on as many projects as we can, but how much can we take on our own?
Right.
So it's important to develop relationships with other people like ourselves or whoever you may need, and just finding the right partnership for you and being able to trust that person. And I know it's hard to trust others with your client or your business because it's your baby and it's your reputation.
Right.
But I think it's important to have that and to be okay with saying that you can't do it. You can't do it all.
Right.
You know, and that you need help. Whether if that's your ego talking or your pride, you need to set that aside.
When did you realize that you knew that you needed help, or like that you couldn't do it all on your own? Was there a time?
I knew from the beginning, just because I'm very detail oriented when I'm working on projects. So I get, like, when I'm designing or developing, like, I'm down to the pixel, and I'm never really satisfied with my work because it can always be better. So I knew from the get-go, like, I need people on my team that I know, people I've worked with, first of all, before, and people that can deliver and I can trust them, and that they are just detail-oriented as I am. Because if I'm sitting there trying to work on someone, I'm trying to find clients, I can't do both, because if I'm sitting in front of a computer all day, I'm not working.
Right. Exactly.
So I need people to help me to be in front of the computer and help me out on projects while I'm out trying to be the face of the business and collect some sales.
Right. So you become, instead of your skill set being your main job day-to-day function, it becomes business development. And I think every business person that wants to grow and scale and eventually realizes they have to do this, they become salespeople, even though we're not salespeople.
I'm not a salesperson.
But we are. We are.
Well, I'm learning.
Yeah.
And I think I'm learning, and I like it because it takes me out of my comfort zone. I'm learning a new skill. I'm sharing this.
Yeah. Hi, everyone that may be watching, because I'm trying to share it with people. That I told about it, but I forgot to share that.
How are you sharing it? Through text?
Yeah, through text.
Oh, okay. So, I've been hit in the head too many times. What were we talking about?
You were talking about doing a sale. Doing a sale.
Oh yeah, just learning sales, right? I mean, it's just, and I'm pretty social as a person, but I'll engage in a conversation if someone talks to me first, usually. But I don't really go out of my way to speak to others, and that's what I'm trying to work on when I'm at networking events, because I'm usually, sometimes I'll go and I'll be like a wallflower, because I'm like I can do your project really well, but I'm just afraid to engage or be the first one to.
Okay, so I have a quick question for you, like a hot seat question. When I told my friend about the podcast and what you do, like, I understand it because I'm in this field, but how would you explain what you do in terms of your business without mentioning UI UX?
That I engage in making products for businesses that create that creates a loyal audience to your product, and that we really focus on experiences to engage people into what you're doing.
Okay, so I like the second part of what you said, because I think that when you say engage in loyalty, like, to me, that could be anything. It could be marketing, could be like customer development, customer service, all of that. But when you talk about experiences, like, that's exactly what, I want to enjoy my experience, or like, a digital experience, like if you mention that. And I think that's part of the struggle when it comes to communicating your message to people who don't know what you do, because those are the people that need your help the most. And
that's what I'm finding out too, because when you say UI UX, people are like,
what? Yeah, what is that?
And then so I have to, like, knock it down and say it's design, and then people think it's graphic design, which
which you can do, but
yeah, and part of it is graphic design, which is the UI side,
Yeah.
but the UX side is the user experience side
Mhm.
is the more technical
Mhm.
aspect of it. So tell me more on so how do you as a small marketing agency, how do you take your customer through the process of selling to them and getting them on board, and then how do you onboard them?
Okay, so I'll explain how I do it depending on where I connect with them. So most of the time I'm at a networking event or I'm connected with someone on social. And they're interested in what I'm doing because I'm always posting on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram. I don't really post much on Facebook unless it's through Facebook groups. And so they're interested in what I'm doing because, social media is it's a hot word, people know. But when they come to me and they're interested, we usually jump on a quick call, like 15 minutes. And I think I did that with you.
So talk about your form.
Yeah.
Okay, so before the call,
we set up, I have a link, set up a call. It's a free call. I can get some information, but
free
discovery
free.
Call. Yeah.
Just please, if anything's free, take the opportunity to do it.
Thing, right? Oh, look, it's spelled wrong.
Podcast.
So you basically you book a call, and then there's 15 questions, maybe 10 questions about your business that will give me a little bit more info so I know what to ask when we're on that call, and we can really make the most of our time. And it's 15 minutes. It's not a ton of things to answer. Talk about, but I really get a sense of where you are, what you want to go, where you want to go, and what you've done already. And so once that call is done, I can really figure out, if they'll need my services, if they're looking for something else, or, a lot of times years ago, people would be like, oh, I want to be first on Google. And I'm like, okay, but you haven't done anything yet. Not one post, no Facebook page, no website, nothing. That's fine. But that must be a huge investment for them. They have to be realistic about that, because going viral is not something that's there's a formula for it. That's why viral is the word. It's not something you can put into a platform and say, hey, make this go viral. And so, we go through that process, and I determine based on their answers where they are, where they need to go, if we're a good fit. And so it's 15 minutes of your time, and maybe a little bit more with the questionnaire.
But the questionnaire is really good. So I'll say from my own experience, taking her questionnaire, it might take me a little bit longer to finish it, just because I was trying to think what I really needed. So it really made me dive a little bit deeper of what I'm trying to do, because all I knew was, for example, I need marketing. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? I don't really know, but I know I need it. So when I got her form, it made me just dive deeper into what I really need. Mm-hmm. And then also she was able to help me pick which social media platform I really needed to be on, because I was thinking, Instagram. I was just thinking Instagram for whatever reason.
It's because your age group. That's what you think.
That too, and also, but the people that are on Instagram are millennials and the Z generation.
Yeah, there's older people, but they're not getting sold to.
Yeah, so that's probably not really the platform I want to be on, unless maybe I'm selling a product or some shoes or something of that nature.
We should sell business AF shoes.
Kicks.
Okay. Anyways,
we need to make shirts, but anyways, yeah. So she helped me kind of narrow it down a little bit, which was quite insightful.
Yeah, and I think that's the goal of what I do in terms of my process, is make sure that we're going to make the most of our time together, and I'm going to give you the best roadmap for your success in terms of where you are and where you need to go. And I think that a lot of people are like, well, you need everything and you need to spend $5,000 a month, but you don't have that cash flow, or you're not ready to make that huge investment because one, you barely met me.
Yeah.
And like, even though I have 12 years of experience and I've spoken at Startup Week and all this other stuff, they still can't trust that. You know, that's a big investment.
It looks good, but yeah, I still need to speak with you and pick your brain a little bit.
And I personally wouldn't want to take on that if I don't know enough about their business. Like, I'd rather start smaller, not super small, but like to figure out what works and then realize, you know what, like we're posting on social when we should maybe invest in some content on your website. Or maybe you
need to be blogging rather than posting on social media, right?
Yeah.
Depends on what you're doing. Can you take a quick water break?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Be right back.
Yeah, it's my show, and I'm going to share it with other people while you're out.
Yeah, go for it. You're right back.
Okay, so if you're here, make sure you put your comments over here. Banners, comments. So yeah, I'm gonna share it with people right now. Sorry, friends. Anyways, guys, thank you. Yeah, so like the podcast is growing. We are hi Anthony. We're working on, obviously doing what we can to put the word out there. It's a lot of work to publicize yourself, one, and then add this to the list of all the other things we need to do when we're marketing ourselves. So hopefully next week, I'm not sure. I have to talk about that with Chris, but next week we'll probably be having a guest on, and so you'll be able to learn more about that person and really pick their brain. But one of the things that I want to talk about when it comes to business is, in addition to like our processes and all the business stuff, there are passions we have outside of business, and I think that's what really fuels our drive to be our own business owners. So I think that's something I want to talk about when Chris gets back, because he's, drinking a ton of water. And speaking of, so I was talking a little bit about how, in addition to, one of the goals for this podcast was us to talk about, business processes and all that stuff, but also being able to talk about the things that we do outside of business that really drive us to continue to be business owners, because it allows us the freedom to do what we want to do. So if you want to talk a little bit about what's coming up on Friday.
Yeah, so I'll be having an MMA fight this Friday. And what are the details? So it's for Epic. So it's for a promotion called Epic Fighting here in San Diego, California. I think the tickets are around $30 or $35 for general admission. And fights, or the doors open at 7, fights start at 8, and I think I am the second fight of the night. So I should be going up quickly and knocking out the dude in front of his family and friends.
Oh, damn.
Calling you out.
Do you even know who it is?
Yeah, it's some guy named Audrey.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's going down. Anyways, besides that, so the way that it helps me is I take those elements of fighting into my business.
Yeah.
And so
talk to the camera. I'm gonna put you.
So the way that I take fighting into the business world is because in fighting, if you're a real fighter, you're taught not to quit. Even though I've quit once before in a fight, and that really drove me insane.
Hi, John.
You know,
he's on our chat.
John who?
John Stroud.
Oh, that was Fitch.
No.
All right. So, anyways, so I quit once, and I've never really quit before that I can recall, except that one time I had to push my body to limits. I had to lose like 43 pounds in 5 weeks, and like I don't want to fully blame it on the weight cut and the way I felt, but it's just I was not all there during the fight. And so ever since then, I made a commitment to myself to never put myself in that situation again. Losing 43 pounds in 5 weeks and not do my cardio as I should have done, and all these different things, right, that go into training. And so since then, I've became mentally stronger by a lot, and also again, just learn not to quit, learn to kind of get on your knees, but then stand back up. You know, because every time that you quit, you never know what the next step may have for you. Wow. So you may be close to perseverance, but then you quit right before you got there.
Yeah.
Right. You just don't know. So I think it's important to just keep going and set your goals. And it sometimes gets discouraging, you know, like there's times, you know, I think the business world or life in general is, you know, you go up and you go down, you go up and down. And but it's important to just, you know, remember what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Fail forward. That's so true, John. Yeah. He said fail forward.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not even failing, you know, it's learning. Like just like a fight. I've in my career, I think fought 11 times, lost twice. And every time I've lost, I've learned something. Every time I've won, I didn't learn anything. Even though I don't want to lose, but I mean, it's just very important to.
So you'd rather lose than win?
No, definitely not. I'd rather win, but it's important to. There's gonna be failures that come, and it's important when you do fail not to fall backwards, but it's to learn and kind of like take that and then grow from that, right? Like evolve.
Right.
Never just settle. Never be on the same line.
Right. And, I think, it's funny because for me, like if I fall backwards, like I know that it's temporary. So if I do have a bad day or if I do like get ghosted by a client or, you know, whatever, a potential client, and, you know, I am proud to say that I'm very communicative with all my clients, but, you know, a friendship, anything, and it knocks you down and it's momentary. It's only for that time. And I feel that, you know, that's a trait that everyone has, that I know, at least in my circle that I've seen, because we are so overloaded with business stuff that we need to do in addition to the daily client stuff, but also our personal lives, you know, our relationships, you know, our friendships. And you just have to be knowing that it's not everything is temporary in terms of your feelings, and you just have to keep going. Yeah. And I think that, so speaking on that, what do you do when you feel like you're knocked down? Like,
collect my thoughts, freak out a little bit in my own head.
Yeah.
And but again, it's an emotion, and emotions come and go. And for those, maybe for an hour or two or for the day, you know, I might be freaking out, but then the next day I'll get motivated again, or during the day I'll get motivated again to just keep pushing, because I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And for some reason, like it's just a calling in it, or I don't know what it is. Because every time I've tried something different to get out of what I'm doing right now, for some reason it fails and I end up back here. And I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm not sure. You know, I'm not a fortune teller or a psychic or whatever you think, but I do believe that we all have some sort of destiny. And if something keeps pushing towards that way, maybe take it as a sign and go forward with that.
Yeah, I mean, that it's good advice or perspective. I think that it's, you know, I think when I feel stuck or down, I'm just honest with myself and the people around me. Like, I know you've heard it from me, like, oh fuck, today sucked. And I know that it's going to be better the next day or later on in the day, but I'm just acknowledging that feeling and just keep on moving. Because if I just, sometimes I do get like in my thoughts and I get way deep down into like, whoa, like I need to like knock out of this. But it sometimes takes, talking to the right people or talking to someone, talking yourself out of the hole. Because if you don't have that support system or you don't have someone to reach out to, then, I think it's just the same as if you weren't a business owner. Like, you'll just get depressed.
I think it's hard, like maybe because I don't really express my feelings too much out loud. Oh. So I keep everything to myself, right? A lot of it. Yeah. And then I battle with myself a lot. Yeah. But if I spoke to other people, it might help just keep me a little more balanced.
Yeah, I think
it's very important to have a support system, and I see the value in that. Mm-hmm. But I need to get, I need my ego to be set aside and just know that it's okay to talk to other people.
Yeah, and I think that it's like a quality of males. I think that it's to talk about your feelings is like not something that's okay.
Well, I'm a man, you know what I mean? I can't talk to anyone, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but, I think that it's such more, and it's funny that we're going down this route because this is not planned, but so that's why we're doing what we're doing. But if you don't just like speak your truth, speak what you're feeling like, then you're just going to like wallow in that the whole time. And it's never going to be good for you. So, we're our own worst enemies. So true, John. Like, if we get lost in and I think that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, you can put comments.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, John, for commenting on our podcast. I appreciate it very much.
Yes, thank you, John. And I think, John and I have known each other for a couple of years, and I think, he's seen me also, like, in my thoughts. Like, I am super unsure of certain things that are going on about my growth and, like, doubting myself. And, you can, if you're sitting around someone, you can see that, like, thought process in their head, like, going, oh, my God, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like,
all the time.
And, sometimes it does take, just being real with yourself and the people around you. And, if someone's going to judge you for that feeling, fine, let them judge. That's their own thing,
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
You kiss my A.
You can curse on this. It's YouTube.
Okay. I don't give a fuck then. You guys want to start cussing?
No, we're not cussing.
Fuck it. No, it's kidding. Anyways.
Business AF.
I love it.
We don't.
I love our name, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny.
If you don't like it, if you want to judge us on it,
judge us.
Yeah.
That we didn't talk about how that came about. We literally sat in a room and we wrote out like.
We're just cursing. What name was coming by.
Come on, let's speak our truth. You remember?
That was my truth. I don't know.
You remember how it happened? We had a whiteboard and we were like brainstorming, and this is kind of like how our process. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. How our processes work. Like, we kind of talk about things that are important to us, what adjectives were important to come across when it came to our business. Here, answered us. So we basically asked each other what adjectives we wanted our target clients to really exemplify, and I think we have a picture of it somewhere. Probably have to share it like on our Instagram or something. But
which there's nothing posted either.
Hey, we're business owners, but it's there. We have the name secured. We just have to figure out what that strategy is. But we're on YouTube, so great. Thank you. Speaking of, let's subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So we came up with all these adjectives. Go ahead if you want.
No, I'm just going to say, please subscribe to Business AF Podcast. People that are watching on YouTube and on my IG Live.
Yeah.
We would really appreciate that. And if you can share this after.
That reminds me.
after we finish.
We got to do the redirect to the YouTube channel.
Or
domain.
Or.
So anyways, we Jonathan, we actually we were brainstorming all these names, and we were kind of thinking about, how do we attract people that are, want to talk about business, but also there's a little bit of a different vibe to it. It's not like super structured, and there's not like a ton of like boring subjects. So we could talk about our businesses, but also we want to bring on guests that are in business, that want to describe more of their process, their background, why they got into business, and also their passions.
At any skill too. Like at least for me, like I don't care if you're just starting out or if you have an idea and how you plan on doing it, or if you own a huge Fortune 500 or 100 company. I'd love to learn from everyone.
And that, I think, is what the power of your network is. So we were thinking about a name, and we're like, okay, it has to be very clear that we're talking about business. It can't be like I had a podcast before, Jonathan knows about it, and I thought it was a cool name, but it didn't really relate to my business at all, and it was hard to really tie it together and explain it when someone said, oh, what's the name of your podcast? And then while the content was very good, the title just didn't match the content or my business name. So I was making sure that, our new one, it was something that was relatable.
Well, I think the thing too is because, for example, like when we all meet in the morning or during the day, we're all professional. But I already know for sure that once 5 o'clock or happy hour hits, business owners, they get wild.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, so like,
why? That was the first time we met at happy hour.
And like, why front? Like, even though like, you want to be professional at work and all those things, but why front? Why be fake? Like, you are who you are. Mm-hmm. If you like cursing, or if you, I don't know, whoever you are, just be who you are and be real with yourself and with everyone else. What was he saying? If he was more PG
and would rather keep it real on his own vibe. Sounds like the same kind of thing with your name. Yeah. That's why we did it, because we were like, you guys, if you're watching and you know us personally, you know that there's curse words, and we're like, there's no filter when you're around us, and we're business owners, but we also have a life, and we have those passions, and
just like
we have personality.
Just like how I called out my opponent and said, like, I'm going to knock him out from his friend's family. That's me. Like, really, like, like, I'm cool with everyone, and like, I genuinely, I'll probably like the guy. Me and him could get a beer after. But before that, I'm gonna knock his head out or head off, not out, and then serve on the platter to his friends. And then after that, we can get a beer. Yeah. But then
so back to the naming. So we come up with all these like adjectives, the we were like, I don't even remember some of the names we had, but it was like we just kept coming back to like, we're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about all aspects of business.
And then life and sports, because I don't and you like soccer and you play soccer.
Mm-hmm. I don't play soccer. I want to. I play softball.
Well, you play softball. Well,
once. But anyways.
But like we have other interests other than just business. I mean, this is what we do for a living.
Yeah.
But that's not us entirely. It's just a part of us.
So we're like rattling off names, and then we're like, oh, we're just like business AF. And then we both looked at each other and was like, yes. Yeah.
Well, and then we also said Taco Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah.
We were like,
it's
fuck
Taco Tuesday.
like Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of our hashtags. Hashtag talk TALKO.
Yeah. I'll put it up here.
Tuesday. Just for people on my IG live too. So we're hashtagging that just because. So unfortunately, I couldn't wait this week for the fight, but next week we will be having tacos on the show. Mm-hmm. So I will be munching, definitely, and gaining the weight back, and hopefully you have some tacos with me.
And actually, we're gonna figure out who we're gonna have on next week.
The week after, I think, or next week.
Next week we do it every week.
No, to have someone next week.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. We have to make sure that
we're kind of playing by ear, and like it's casual.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually one thing we also talked about for the Business AF podcast is not trying to perfect it. We will perfect it as we go. And
the agile method.
Exactly. And so, for example,
what is agile?
So there's different agile methods, but to like the gist of it is to quickly.
John said cutting weight for a fight. Yeah, he joined late. He joined late. So.
Yeah, I'm cutting weight for a fight.
On Friday.
John, yeah, I'll be fighting this Friday for Epic Fighting. They are a MMA promotion.
He actually does marketing for MMA.
Maybe it's
gyms.
Epic. Oh, okay. Maybe he knows my gym. I train at the arena down near Point Loma.
No, but you could probably introduce him.
I wouldn't mind, yeah, if they need it. I know that they spend good money on marketing, so
they probably already have a system.
maybe.
Anyways,
so what were we? Thank you, I appreciate it, John. This is a problem when you get punched in the head too much.
Taco Tuesday, and then you talked about
goddamn
business AF.
Agile.
Yeah, agile. Who would be cool to pick your brain? Oh, pick your brain. You better send them your consulting look. Consulting costs.
Oh, it would be cool to pick my brain.
Pick your brain.
Oh yeah, definitely. It'd be probably cool to pick your brain as well, John. So yeah, agile methodology.
Just before we go, Chris does UI UX
and software
development for web apps, mobile web apps, progressive web apps, stuff like that.
Mobile apps, native,
yeah,
web. Whatever is needed, we can do it. Database engineering as well, or architecture, cloud services. One-stop
John,
shop.
he's in the WeWork building, so when you come here on the 26th, you guys can probably meet. We have a meeting on the 26th.
Okay, cool.
You can come to
That'd
that
be great.
too. But anyways, agile method.
Yeah. So, for example, we briefly talked about this around this.
That on accident.
Oh, Marissa. I'm just kidding.
Okay, here. We're just gonna do it off of here.
Okay, cool. The sound will be different, but whatever.
That's all right.
Part of agile. So, agile methodology, we use this in software. Yeah. So we use agile methodology in software development. And the idea is to get the MVP, and that stands for most valuable product, for your product to just get out the door. Whatever the important piece of that product is, work on that, and then you build on top of it later. So if you have 20 features you want to get out the door, you focus between like 1 to 5 features, and then you start iterating on top of that, and then bring your other features in later, and maybe you'll learn that your users don't even care for those features, and what you have is perfect enough. And that's what I want to do with this podcast, is take that same concept into it. Because we'll learn as we go. Trying to plan everything ahead of time is just going to set us back. And I believe that it's important to have an idea of what you want, but to adapt, or just be adaptable as you go. So
and I think that. I mean, I'm totally in agreement with that, because we talked about this last week, but I was really stressing out about being on a podcast and like making sure that it was like super like tightened up, and like we did the Instagram and we had like a full content plan, and it kind of stressed me out when I started thinking about it, because I was like, this is another project that like I have to add to my arsenal of projects, and I don't really do things half-ass, but I learned from Chris that like if we're gonna do this, like we have each other as a support system, but also we know that like if it ends up not working out, if it's not what we envision it to be after we put some time into it, then we change and we say, okay, well, that was cool, we tried it, and and because it would have never launched.
Yeah.
If it weren't for Chris, because I was like so like really busy with work in July, and I was really working on my business. But I know that if I didn't if we didn't make it launch date, we're like letting ourselves down. And that's a skill set we have to learn as business owners too. Like you have to set deadlines for yourself, and you have to be realistic with, the amount of work that you need to do. Blitz scaling MVP over getting everything perfect first. Yeah. Yeah. And, we want to be able to, share this podcast. We want to invite people on that, maybe have never been on a video podcast. Like I would have never done a video podcast last year, but it's
also live.
Yeah.
Live. We're doing it live.
Who does that, right? But it's totally something that.
And I don't want to edit it either. Like,
no.
Because it's like bloopers live as well. And it just is what it is. And
it showcases us.
I think people are real enough or down to earth nowadays where they just accept it, because nobody's perfect, or our podcast won't be perfect. And
right.
That's what I like about this, because it's so raw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just do it live and
and I think that I'm learning that and realizing that like it's important to just do it, and it's done is better than perfect. And maybe we repurpose this into something else, maybe we don't, but we know what we need to do in terms of our business, and this is a way that we can share with each other our struggles, our wins, our losses, but also bring on other people that may have never been on a podcast, or they don't understand how that can like get their message out quickly to other people without without spending a ton of money.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite memes too. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah.
It's true, man.
Yeah.
Very true.
So I think we're about to wrap up.
We have a few more minutes.
I know, but that was a good way to end.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Hey, remember we're agile method. We
okay,
go.
Cool.
I think what we want to do also is have. I don't know if you guys follow me on our Facebook friends with me, but I always ask questions. So I want to end with a question.
Okay.
And then you have to answer.
Me?
Oh, Jonathan, our next one is
every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. So
at 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
11-ish.
And if that changes, you'll know on our YouTube channel. So you have to subscribe so you can get the notifications. Okay, so
you're asking me a question.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with, let's see. This is a book that I picked up at the store this weekend. It's 3,000 questions about me. So this is really gonna help me with like stuff I ask. But do you have, okay, hold on. This is like, okay, finish the sentence. The quickest way to make you crazy is.
Yeah, that's a good one. The quickest way to make me crazy is not being responsive. I want everyone to communicate. I hate when people take their time, or if I have to keep following up with them or babysit. I want everyone to be responsible for themselves.
Yeah. Okay. So I used to identify with that. I totally am on board with respecting time and communication and stuff, but I've been learning a lot about detaching myself from a response, because I can only control myself and control my reaction to it, my feelings to it. So as much as it's hard to learn this habit when you've been so used to like someone, always being communicative and always like making sure that people respond to you, when you start detaching yourself, and this for me, when you start detaching yourself from the expectation that you should hear back, it's just easier. And that happens like in every aspect of hearing back. Like if it's a proposal, if it's some, your significant other responding to you, or like a friend that you're reaching out to, like even a regular text about potentially going to happy hour. Like I might reach out to Chris and be like, hey, you're going to go to happy hour. It takes him 4 hours to respond. But like, if I get mad, that's me having a bad reaction for 4 hours.
That's true. Owning your own feelings.
Yeah, and it's so much. Well, but then you actually then respect more, like actually communicating with people. Speaking of John, Tinder, that doesn't exist in my world because I never had to use it, so thank God. But
I've ghosted a few Tinder dates.
Oh, Chris!
Gotta be real.
Yeah.
I've been ghosted too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been ghosted for clients, and I'm kind of like, I just come to the realization that they were never going to be a good client, so I'm okay with it because they never respond to me as long as I'm okay with who I am as a person. So
like I can take no for an answer. That's cool.
Yeah.
But say no.
Yeah.
Don't just say nothing.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
so
closure, I guess. We want closure.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't always get it. You have to be okay with not getting that. Because we may not give it to people as well. I mean, I've been guilty of that. So
the 4 agreements. Yeah, that's a book we'll maybe talk about before, but John, that's actually also in Deepak Chopra's 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, but that's another show. We'll definitely talk about that later. So if you guys are watching live or in the replay, make sure you subscribe. Wait, hold on. This cool like banner feature I gotta use. So make sure you hit subscribe and help us grow.
That button, wherever it is on the screen.
I think it's down there, right on my side.
Like the emoji.
It's on my side or it's on your side. I don't know. Anyways, all right. That's me signing out. I'm Marisa from All the Social.
And I'm Chris from Pixel Lift. And
we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, sounds good. With tacos. Let me play the music.
Good luck, Chris, on your fight.
Thank you very much.
And we're gonna play our outro song. Well, Jonathan, you may recall this one from years. Hey, oh yeah, it's 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's coming. It is coming in 2, 1, bam.
Oh my God!
My butt's in your face.
Gross! Oh my God! Bye.
See you guys. Bye.